Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Treasures Galore. This is your host, Michael Elder, and here is the video that I have been talking about. I think this is super important to the chase. I do believe that me doing this is really idiotic. I do know that. I always hear people say, you wouldn't dare give away some super secret to $1 million treasure if you thought you were actually right. Well, I do think I'm right on some areas, but I know I'm wrong in some areas. Most importantly, I'm not in the right place where the treasure chest is at. Do I think I have some stuff that will um, help you guys? Do I think this will help you guys tonight? Yes, absolutely. If you put any merit in the book, or really anything anything Forrest Fenn says, you're gonna like this tonight. I guarantee you're gonna like it. Um, Anyways, a little bit about me, guys. My name is Michael Elder. I got into this chase around 2015. I heard about it in the wintertime. I was on Facebook and I saw an article. I don't remember which article it was. I clicked on it, read it, and I was like, wow, this treasure could be hidden in my backyard. This is awesome. So I ordered the book and read the book and read the book and came up with a solve and actually just went. I didn't look up anything on the internet. You know what I mean? It really didn't cross my mind. All I could think about is this is all you need is just the book, so that's all I'm gonna read, right? Like, what can I find on the internet that would be any good? So do that, and then all of a sudden I get on the forums and stuff like that, and I go that way. But going back to my original idea of just clearing out all the noise about fishing regulations and Yellowstone and all this stuff like that, clear out all the noise, come in with the book and the poem. That's it. Just focus on those two things, believing that there is hints to each one of the clues in the poem. I firmly believe that there's a hint per clue in the poem. And even more so, I think there's hints for the whole poem throughout the book. And this is how you're going to walk precisely to the treasure chest, is because he has to give you specific directions on exactly what to do if you're going to do that. You know what I mean? You can't just like, oh yeah, you got to follow this creek. Well, what creek? What are you talking about, man? Where do I even start, right? You can't walk with confidence. But he gives you specific directions, and I think it's all going to fit. You know what I mean? And that's how you're going to kind of know, like, wow, you know what I mean? This can't be a coincidence. That's how I think it is. So anyways, you got to use the book. So I told you guys in that video, so just clear your guys' mind, right? Come in with an open mind about the book and use your imagination, okay? Imagine, giving a 12 or 13-year-old the book and the poem, tell him to read the poem, study the poem, and then go back and read the book, right? And use his imagination and just say, you know what? All the answers to this poem are in this book. And so you tell me which one it is. And if you did that, that would be my solve. I guarantee you. It'd be my solve, pretty much. It's pretty simple, but it just uses the book. You know what I mean? But it's hinted through all, a lot of different in his books, in his scrapbooks, and etc. Okay, so anyways, enough about me. Let's get to this. And this is called Running Through Fields and Tall Grass, Part 2. If you haven't watched House Husband Diaries video, it's awesome. Check it out, guys. Really haven't heard many people talking about this, and all of a sudden, right before I'm about ready to put out this video, he puts that video out. Now, I'm going to talk about the same theme, kinda. I mean, there's a lot of different directions that this goes that I've found in the books, in my opinion. So anyways, there's going to be a completely different spin on it, but kind of the same theme, and then that's awesome that you realize that. Running through fields and tall grass. I mean, that's awesome. There's a recurring theme, and there's a lot more than what he mentioned, too. So I'm going to go over those. So the first one I'm going to bring up is the one that the House Husband Diaries brought up, and it is stout-hearted men. So, anyways, stout. Here's a little off topic, little thing for you, little tidbit. Stout is a synonym for which means bold. So my treasure's bold, stout-hearted men. Just an interesting little topic. Okay, so here we go. This is what was brought up in that YouTube video. So he says, to avoid detection, I ran full speed across an open field, crying all the way until I reached a small county road that led back home. I remember falling twice while trying to get through the dumb barbed wire fence. Okay, now let's watch this in Finn's words. I think it's more important than his words.
But I still tell people I went to Texas A&M, which is a true story. So I went back to my barracks. I put my civilian clothes on. I folded my cadet uniform very precisely and made up my bed and put it on my bed and got my little bag of clothes, and I went out the back door so nobody would see me and nobody was around. But there was a long field, maybe a quarter of a mile, just an open field. And I ran across that thing all the way over to the road that I knew so I could hitchhike home. I remember I was crying, really crying bad, because I was leaving all my buddies, and my future was back there with them. And I tried to get through a barbed wire fence. I fell a couple of times, and it was an agonizing time. And then I was standing there trying to hitchhike, and there were no cars anyplace. And then way down there, I saw a pickup truck that was coming out of Texas A&M turn and come my way. And I knew that, it was one of the guards. They have people watching to make sure cadets don't go home. So he pulled up and asked me what I was doing. I told him I was going home because I had no money to pay to stay. And those were magic words to that guy, and he'd probably heard it before, but if I'd said anything else, well, he'd have probably taken me back. But, they say money talks and cash screams, and I didn't have either one. So it took me 2 days to get home. I spent the night in a field with a bunch of cows around under a big tree, and it had time to reevaluate and traumatic times. It sounds trivial now to me, but it was a big deal then.
Okay, so did you guys catch on any of that? Okay, so to avoid detection, Terry Scant with marble gaze, right? I ran full speed across an open field, crying all the way until I reached a small county road that led back home. Okay, so he's running across this field, trying to get to this road that lead back home, and I remember falling twice while trying to get through the dumb barbed wire fence. Now, how many times did he make the trip from the treasure chest to his car? How many times did he do that? He made 2 trips from his car, right? So I remember falling twice while trying to get through the dumb barbed wire fence. You're going to have to cross a barbed wire fence to get to this treasure chest. Now, whether that means it's private property, whether it means it's just an old barbed wire fence, to keep cattle out, whatever the reason the fence is up, you're going to have to cross a barbed wire fence. And I firmly believe that. You're going to have to cross a barbed wire fence and then run through a field. Okay, but listen to this. So later on in the story, he says the little country farm to market roads in that area were short and had many intersections, and it wasn't easy catching a ride in the direction I needed to go. So that night, I slept under a tree with cows grazing all around. It was a threshold moment in my life, but I didn't know it at the time. He's telling us this was a threshold moment in his life. He didn't know it back then, but he knows it now. Maybe he knew it right when he got cancer and that was the place, you know what I mean? It was a threshold moment in my life. So that night I slept under a tree with cows grazing all around. What if this is his special place? What if this place under the tree that's where you had to run through the field, go through the barbed wire fence? What if this field with that tree is his special place? What if? It's not a special fishing place. It's where something, really, a pivotal moment in his life happened. It doesn't have to be a really serene, pretty place. It's still in the mountains. There's still animals. There's still trees around. You know what I mean? But you're in a field. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a stream right there in that field. A little stream. So, but that's interesting, right? So he fell twice. He made 2 trips. He ran through a field. He's saying that this was a threshold moment in his life when he slept under this tree. And there's cows grazing all around. So that's interesting, right? I mean, that just sticks out to me already. And it did when I first read the book. But check all of this out, man. This is crazy. And I'm like really excited to get this out to you guys. Okay, so let's check out this one now. It's called Forrest Fenn on Leaving the Air Force. So let's listen to it. Okay, I'm going to pause it in between and kind of put my opinion in there.
I don't know where the edge is, but I'm gonna bend this thing as far as it'll go. And I lived about 7 miles. It was 7 miles from Reese Air Force Base into Lubbock.
7 miles from Reese Air Force Base into Lubbock. That was the same distance that was used in Buffalo Cowboys of how far they were out of town when they went to round up the buffalo. So, just a fun fact. I don't think it has anything to do, but just saying. I'm just letting you know.
Through cotton fields.
Through cotton fields. He's driving through fields.
Little Volkswagen Bug. And I got about halfway home and
He got about halfway home.
Feeling came over me.
He just said, sorry, I should have paused there. I got about halfway home and a strange feeling came over me. And look at his face. He's like looking up in the air. He got about halfway home and a strange feeling came over him.
And I pulled over the side of the road. I crawled out of that Volkswagen Bug. I climbed through a barbed wire fence.
Wait a second. He's driving his car in the middle of fields. He stops his car and crawls through a barbed wire fence.
Way I walked a couple hundred yards out.
Couple hundred yards. So in that other one, he said a quarter of a mile. This one, he says a couple hundred yards.
This big cotton patch. I took my watch off. I threw it just as far as I could throw it. I had a little calendar in my wallet. I took it out and ceremonially shredded it and ceremonially threw it to the 4 winds. I said, it's a whole new ball game from now on.
Okay. So, driving, okay, stops his car, gets out. I mean, this is kind of a random story, right? Driving his car, right? Stops it, gets out, jumps over a barbed wire fence, runs through this field, right? Takes off his watch, takes his calendar out of his pocket, rips it up, throws it. It's a whole new ball game from now on, he said. It's a whole new ball game. I'm changing my life right now. From this moment on, right now, as I stand in this field, I'm changing my life. Sounds like a very pivotal moment, guys. Very pivotal moment. The same thing. Can't you see the similarities? This is not a coincidence, okay? This is not a coincidence. I'm going to prove that, okay? You got to run through a field. It's under a tree. This is where his special place is, and this is why people drive by it because it's right there in a field. It's right there in a field. So if you think you got within 200 feet and there's a special place where where warm water's halting this canyon down, use this. Try to a certain distance. Look for a field, I know that's going to be almost impossible to find, right? But study that and get in that area. And if you can figure that out, you know what I mean? Like how far too far to walk is. Maybe I think it's 50 miles. But anyways, you get my point. This is really awesome, guys. But check this out. So this story wasn't brought up just right now. after 2010. This thing came up a long time ago, guys. Check this out. Let me do this really quick, and then there we go. Check this out. It's an article from 1976. So it says in 1965, the United States Air Force, as a major, Forrest Fenn, said, 20 years as a pilot and 315 missions in Vietnam, and I had had it. They offered me a promotion to lieutenant colonel if I would serve 3 more years. But no way. Forrest Fenn leaned back in his chair and folded his arms behind his head. A faraway look came into his eyes. Let me read that again. Forrest Fenn leaned back in his chair, folded his arms behind his head. A faraway look came into his eyes. Now, this seems like it's going to be something good, right? When someone leans back and they look up in the air, it's going to be something good, right? Okay, as I continue. So it says, do you know the first thing I did after I retired from the Air Corps? I stopped my car, climbed a fence, took my watch off my wrist, and threw it as far as I could throw it into the brush and across an open field. Haven't worn a watch since and never expect to again. Okay, so he's looking up in the air, arms crossed, looking up, and he's telling them about this time that he stopped his car, climbed the fence, and threw his watch off. And this was a pivotal moment in his life, right? This is a pivotal moment. He hasn't worn a watch since, and you know what? He's doing it. He's doing it on his terms from now on. Pivotal moment where he stops his car in this field. Okay. So let's go to the next one. There we go. Let's check this one out. Let's keep going. There's more.
I remember taxiing out. I told myself, it's either I can leave the engine running.
Leave the engine running.
Jump out, climb over the fence.
Jump out, climb over the fence.
And hitchhike back home.
Hitchhike back home? Wait a second. Didn't he say he was trying to hitchhike back home back in Stout-Hearted Men? He did. He was trying to hitchhike his way back home. Interesting.
Or I can take this airplane off the ground and kill myself, Matt.
Yeah, that's it. So I just think this is interesting. It's really funny because this is my opinion, guys. Everything's my opinion. Don't forget that. I'm not saying any of this is fact. But he uses these little snippets in these stories, right? He puts these little things in these stories just like this. Like, oh, I'm going to stop, talking about pilot training. He's talking about flying his plane. But he's like, I could leave the engine running and I could jump out and hop over that fence and, and hitchhike my way back home. It just goes hand in hand with the stories that I was just talking about, right? So just really interesting that he throws that little snippet in there. Really interesting. Okay, so I'm going to revert back to the Thrill of the Chase, and this is another chapter that the House Husband Diaries brought up. It's the Gypsy Magic, page 42. So it says, the screen was easy to unlatch, so I jumped to the ground and ran as fast as I could through the cemetery and across a wide field toward the firelight. By laying on my stomach under a wagon and pushing the tall grass aside, I could really see up close. Okay, so again, running away from home. Interesting. Running through a field. So, that's what I believe, guys. I think there is a field that you're going to have to run across. You're going to have to cross a barbed wire fence. Now, wouldn't it really be awesome? Because Forrest Fenn knows this. He went through this with the government, right? With San Lazaro. He's gotten so much crap for having that and excavating it, right? A lot of people, and the government tried to get involved, and you know what I mean? And he had court and stuff like that with San Lazaro, with him owning the land. In the interview with Maureen Mills, she asked, who owns it, and he's like, whoever has the title, whoever has the title. And so he knows that land ownership is really important, right? You know what I mean? He should know that because he won those battles. I don't believe he lost anything in the court battles with San Lazaro. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he didn't. And so ForrestFenn knows. If anyone knows, ForrestFenn knows. Wouldn't it be awesome if ForrestFenn somehow owned that land or something like that, and the treasure chest was on it, and then you claim the land and stuff like that, and that's how ForrestFenn knows and all that fun stuff. I think that would be awesome. I think it'd be awesome if ForrestFenn owned the land. But for whatever reason, guys, there's a barbed wire fence you're going to have to cross. You're going to have to run through a field, and you're going to have to avoid detection through this field. So whatever that means, whether it's private property or, whether you just shouldn't be seen with a treasure chest in the middle of a field on the side of the road, maybe that's it too. But you guys can make your own decision on that. So the second part of this video is the second theme that goes along with this. Okay, so there's a theme of running through a field, and in that one was it Gypsy Magic. So he pops a screen off from his window and runs through the field, right? So he starts at home and he's running through the field. So that's a common theme too. Okay, is running away from home. Running away from home. Isn't that interesting? Running away from home. And some of it's through a field, and some of these instances are just instances of running away from home. Just like how I brought up in my other video, No Place for the Meek is cross the street, right? So I told you guys that he'd run away from home, but he's not allowed to cross the street, And so I used the logic that No Place for the Meek is right after the home of Brown, right? So he'd run away from home, but he's not allowed to cross the street. So that's No Place for the Meek, because he can't run away from home, because that's where the next clue is, right? So anyways, there's another instance of him running away from home. And this all gets interconnected right here, and I hope I don't lose anyone. But so there's a theme: running away from home and running away through fields, right? So get your Too Far to Walk books out and jump to page 48. It's chapter 9, Mom and Me. Okay, so it's about him wanting to go to the dance. He gets in trouble by his father, gets grounded. His dad goes fishing. His mom says you can go to the dance. So this is where we're at, and I'm going to start reading. And she shined my shoes. I was going to the dance. I combed my hair, kissed her goodbye, and jumped off the front porch running. The screen door slammed loudly in protest. He jumped off the porch running, so he's running away from home once again, right? After a block, I stopped and turned. My mom was standing on the porch looking at me. We both waved and I ran again. It was about a mile to the high school gymnasium where the dance was held. Other kids who were driven by their dance by their parents saw me as I ran by and passed them by. Looking back now, I think it was an omen. I think it was an omen, he says. Jackson Park was about halfway. Okay? Do you remember in the Leaving the Air Force when he says, we got about halfway home and a strange feeling came over him? That's the exact words in this video. I got about halfway home and a strange feeling came over me. Now listen to this part in this chapter. It says, Jackson Park was about halfway and I sat on a bench to rest. So he got tired, right? I got tired. He sat on a bench to rest. Kind of like probably he would sit down to rest with the treasure chest when he's going to put it through the field. Something gnawed at me and I felt strangely uncomfortable. Isn't that interesting? He felt strangely uncomfortable. So once again, halfway home and a strange feeling came over him, right? He felt strangely uncomfortable. Hand in hand, both of those stories interconnected, right? And then suddenly I knew. I jumped up and ran full speed back towards home. I couldn't believe I had chosen to attend the school dance. Okay, so he jumped up and ran full speed back home. So he's running away from home. Runs away from home, runs back to home. Okay, getting about halfway home, and then there's a strange feeling that comes over him. Okay, this is all connected, guys. This is all connected. And I really want to tell you guys the key word, and you should really understand what the key word is now, but I will save that for my next video. Okay? So, all interesting. All these different things are connected. And I know there's one other thing. Yeah, okay. Yep, there's one other thing that I want to talk about right here. Is scrapbook 121.7. Okay, so I am a firm believer that Forrest Fenn wrote this scrapbook. And you're going to see why I think that here in a minute. Now, it could be just pure coincidence, but to me, it seems really that really, really Forrest Finney, and that Forrest Fenn wrote it. And I believe that he's wrote other scrapbooks as well, posing as searchers. Firmly believe that, 100%. Okay. So, anyways, let's go through this scrapbook. 121.7. Okay, January 215. I don't want to read it all. Okay, so it's titled "The Day I Ran Away from Home." So it says Melissa has an unruly health issue that has her in a pensive mood to write stories for her grandsons. Wow, guys, that really seems like Forrest Fenn when he got cancer, right? And wanted to write his memoir for his grandchildren. Okay, anyways, let's keep going. She has a nice way of expressing her thoughts that I suspect are so similar to what each of us has felt on occasion. Yeah, just like you felt it, because this is you. Um, at a time when our world is casting dark shadows over the land, maybe it's time now that we should reflect back to our basic human instincts and remember what's most important in our daily lives. Here is one of Melissa's stories. F. Titled, The Day I Ran Away from Home. Okay, guys, remember the theme of running away from home? Okay, let's. Okay, and it was in 1962, and I was 8 years old. Okay, so here's another theme, guys. Here's another theme about him being 8 years old, or almost eight, or he was his 80 pound body carrying the pack. So heavy with his 80 pound body. He's using that. He was 79 or 80. You know what I mean? He was 79 or 80 when he had the treasure chest. Or, in the beginning of the book, he's like, oh, I could have just said I was 80 years old, so I could be, or I could have said I'm 79 to be a year younger, or whatever, how it goes. So there's a reoccurring thing with that, and I believe that when he says he was 8 years old, I believe he's talking about the time that he had the treasure chest, when he was about 8 years old. And I'll make another video about that. So anyways, keep going. I felt like no one cared about me, or even knew I was around. The night before, I'd been playing outside and it had gotten dark. I was being so brave by staying outside in the dark. Okay, so if you have watched my other videos, I talk about how you need to bring a flashlight and stuff like that. I think there might be a reason why you might have to have a flashlight or go in the dark. Probably because you're running through a field, crossing a barbed wire fence to try and avoid detection. That's just my thoughts. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. When I went to come inside, the front door was locked. That sort of puzzled me, so I went around to the side door, which was a glass, and it was locked too. I looked in and didn't see Dad or Mom sitting in the chairs. I ran to the back door, and it was locked. I was sort of half panicked, and I went back to the front door and looked in the door, which was glass also, and everything was dark. I sat on the porch for a moment, and tears came, and I went to the back side of the house and climbed up the pipe and went in the bedroom window and then just went to bed thinking and crying that no one cared about me. Okay, so here's her crawling through a window. So remember in Thrill of the Chase when he's popping and jumping out of his screen door or his screen window, which he does quite a bit. It's not just in the Thrill of the Chase; it's through all three books. Okay. Anyways, where was I? I sat on the front porch. I sat on the front porch for a moment, and tears came. And I went to the back side of the house and climbed up the pipe and went into the bedroom window. And okay, there we are. Then just went to the bed, thinking and crying that no one cared about me. Okay, so there's crawling through the bedroom window and crying. Another theme, right? Just left me outside, and everyone had gone to bed, I guess. But I didn't even. They didn't even check to see where I was. Something like that can work on a kid's mind. So the next day, I was going to run away. I got my little blue and white record player and handle and on and took out the player and it made a little suitcase. I put Coco, my little stuffed dog, in it, a couple dollars, and went downstairs to the kitchen, made me a sandwich. Okay, guys, what are you supposed to bring? You're supposed to bring a sandwich. Another hint, right? Bring a sandwich. Okay, and got an apple and was ready to run away. While I was walking down the hall to the front door, here comes Dad. He asked, "Where are you going? And what you got?" I told him I was running away because no one cared about me, and told him I had what I had in my box because I had always told my dad everything. Okay, so that sounds like another Forrest Fenn, quote right there. You know what I mean? I always listened to what my father said. Blah blah blah. Um, he said, "Okay, but first you need to say goodbye to all the animals because they will surely miss you." I said, "Okay," and he said, "I hope you come back to visit." And I said, "Okay." So I headed out. There's another thing that sounds really Forrest Finney, right? There's always that quote. So we headed out. We headed out. He says that a lot in his books. Okay, said goodbye to the horses, then the cats, and when it came to say goodbye to my dog Tippy, I just cried and cried. Then I headed out the driveway to the park. Okay, so you remember in Too Far to Walk when Jackson Park was about halfway home, right? So he's going to the park. So in this one, same thing, going to the park. Okay, then I headed out the driveway to the park, and when I got there, I said and ate my sandwich. Okay, there's your sandwich again. Hugged my little Coco and cried some more. Okay, remember him running through the field crying. There it is, and then just ran back home. Running home. Going to the park, running to the park, running home. Interesting. Um, really sounds like Forrest Fenn. It really sounds like Forrest Fenn wrote this to me, guys. But maybe it's just a coincidence, and maybe all this doesn't matter. I don't know. I think this is really important. Now, there is so much more that goes along with this, and then I'm gonna explain more in the subsequent videos. Like the next one I'm gonna do is the keyword, which is gonna tie like my previous videos and these all together, and then I'm gonna go from there. Not going to release exactly where I'm at, I guess. Apparently, there's some big news that Forrest Fenn is going to release. It's probably going to be a big nothing burger, but wouldn't that be awesome if he's like, oh yeah, someone was like within 10 feet or whatever? I mean, that would be kind of exhilarating to know that actually someone's actually getting close to solving this thing. Because right now it kind of seems impossible. Um, so anyway, guys, that's kind of it. I feel like there's something else that I need to talk about. Uh, but I can't put. No, that's it, guys. Yeah. So, anyways, tell me what you guys think. This theme about running through fields, I think it is. I think it's super important, and with all these different, you know what I mean. Look at all these tabs up, and the differences in the books. I mean, there's 4 chapters, right? 4 chapters in 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not going to count that one because that's a map. So there's 8 different instances with all these things interconnected to this theme of running away from home and then running away through fields. Now, I do believe that there is tall grass. I do believe that there is tall grass in this field. I firmly believe that. Firmly believe that. I mean, he hints about tall grass quite a bit in his literature. It'd be hard for me to imagine that there wouldn't be some sort of tall grass around, but, maybe not. So, tell me what you guys think. I think that you're gonna have to cross a barbed wire fence, and that's kind of, that's why in my other videos I hinted that you might have to do something mischievous, because of this. You get to cross a barbed wire fence. Now, why would there be a barbed wire fence? Now, there is instances where, it's not private property, but if you're crossing a fence and then going through a field to avoid detection, it just seems like you're up to no good doing something, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, tell me what you guys think. Send me, yeah, let me know what you guys think, guys. My mind's spinning right now. I'm all excited. I got this off my chest. So, anyways, email me your thoughts. Running through fields. There's so much more that I want to go into this, and then that I'm gonna do in subsequent videos. I wanted to get this out, just to see what you guys think. there's other stuff like this where there's so many different stuff that, connects in the books about all these different clues. You know what I mean? I'm excited to get it out. And I have the same with Windwater's Halt. That's probably one that I have the most backing in the book, but um, apparently I'm doing something wrong because I can't find the treasure chest. But anyways, I might be really dumb for releasing this video. But anyways, guys, this was it. I hope you guys liked it. Please subscribe. I'm probably going to start going live here soon, I would imagine. So you guys want to subscribe for that. If you guys like this video, you know what I mean, and you are interested in the ForrestFenn.Thrillofthechase and you like this and like me going through the books, subscribe, because you're gonna want to see all my videos come up, because sometimes I don't label them ForrestFenn, so when you type in that, you're not gonna find my videos. So anyways, subscribe, guys. I might wait a little bit to my subscriber base builds a little more to make another video. We'll just see. We'll see if people think this video is important, as I think it is. You know what I mean? I may get a lot of criticism. I don't really care. You know what I mean? I'm not really in the chase. I'm just out here putting my thoughts out here for you guys and just seeing what you guys think about it. Maybe it'll help someone out there. But firm believer, guys. Firm believer that this is it right here. So you got to run through a field, cross a barbed wire fence, and there's a treasure chest. So it's not that pristine place with the, you know what I mean, the mountains, and well, it is in the mountains, but you know what I mean. It's not in that serene, beautiful place in the Yellowstone Park where there's, you know what I mean. It's not in a place like that. It's just in a field. Now, there is animals and trees and stuff around like that, the way he described it. What you'd see if you're at the treasure chest. But you're in a field, It makes sense. It makes sense how people, a lot of people got within 500 feet and 200 feet, Maybe there's a turnoff right by that field that someone turned off at, you know what I mean? And the road's 500 feet away. That's why a lot of people are just 500 feet away. So just an idea. Let me know what you guys think, guys. Really, let me know what you guys think. Comment. I really prefer email. Email me. I'll leave my email in the description box below. Tell me what you think. Again, my name's Michael Elder. I'm going to be making a lot more videos, and I'm excited. So, I'm probably going to set up a PayPal account, and if you would choose to donate, now listen to this, if you choose to donate, I want to buy different books. So either different Forrest Fenn books. So I want to do studies on all three books. Forrest Fenn, The Thrill of the Chase, Once Upon a While, Too Far to Walk. I want to go through all those. I want to go through all the books that I do have. I have a whole bunch of books from Salone, The Outlaw Trail. Just go over those and just do a book study, not of The Thrill of the Chase or anything like that, and do like an episode of a book study, and then the next episode would be doing a book study of something else that's related or mentioned in The Thrill of the Chase. You know what I mean? I think it would be fun. I think it'd be interesting. So I'm gonna set up like that. That money would be going to buying the books that I do not have. So we could do it like that. And then once the thing's done, I will I'll give the book away. And I think that would be awesome, right? You guys give me money, I'll buy the book, or you guys can send me the book, whatever one, and then we'll do a little giveaway, and then we'll let our subscriber have the book. I think that'd be awesome. So. Excited to do more videos. Thank you guys. It's awesome. Please subscribe. 500. I want to get to 1,000 real quick. That'd be awesome. So I could go live on my phone, and it's just a big milestone that I've always wanted to reach. Never thought I could. Never thought I'd get to 500. To be honest with you, never thought that. It'd be awesome if I could double it. So if you're listening to this, please subscribe. Just putting my thoughts out here, guys. Not saying this is right. Not saying you should listen to me. Not saying I'm some authority at all. You know what I mean? Never met Forrest. I'm just a hick who lives in Colorado and works in the oil field. Who's read these books a lot. So let me know what you think, guys. I appreciate it, and click that subscribe button.